Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Thursday, the 30th of October 2025. I'm Graham Hughes. Welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. You can hear me. That's good. That's a good start. Technical problems this morning. You might have seen the intro was a bit jittery, wasn't it? Yeah. My computer's having a bit of a meltdown for some reason. This is using 32.7% of my CPU, which is no good. So I'm just going to pause the scrolling in the background, not that anyone notices. And I'll also just stop the animated Morning Brew here. Maybe that'll help with the memory problems. Windows 11, eh? It's great. I guess all that spyware has to go somewhere. Anyway, so before we start, just want to say hello to Ivan and to Diz and to Jack Russell and to Paula Thomas and the Gist UK. And also to Alex in there, Pete Den Cart and Blah Blah CW, Sarah Davis in the chat there, Bowles, Cov, Ernie Burns and others. If you'd like to join our friends, use the right hand, literally. If you want to join our friends in the chat, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button, wait for approximately 60 seconds, and you should be able to join in with the party. And you know what? Everyone's very welcome, as long as you're not a troll. Don't be a troll. Not interested in trolls. You've got other places to live on the internet. So, here comes the fear again. The end is near again. If you ever get that chimp off your back, if you ever find the thing that you lack. But you know, you're only having a laugh. But here we go again. Sage words by Mr. JC himself, Jarvis Cocker, the man. So all this coming back in the 90s. Back in the 90s, because 1992, I think, was the last time that the Americans carried out a nuclear bomb experiment where they tested a nuclear weapon. 33 years ago, under George H.W. Bush Sr. Wow. We've been here before, folks. For those of you who are over the age of 40, I guess, you know, we remember it. And it was fucking terrifying. And now Trump is restarting nuclear testing. You know, not just posturing, not just tough guy politicking. He's dragging us back to the most dangerous era in human history. And this is a fear that we thought we had buried when we knocked down the fucking Berlin Wall. I've still got my piece of the fucking Berlin. Should I go and get me piece of the... I'm going to get me piece of the Berlin Wall. Just wait there. Where is it? There's me piece of the Berlin Wall. There we go. Oh, there you go. Keep it on my bookshelf. That's it. And it just looks like a bit of concrete. That's a genuine piece of the Berlin Wall that I chipped off as a kid, 11-year-old kid, in the summer of 1990. Once we were allowed to go into East Germany, once we were allowed to go to Berlin, and once we were allowed to actually attack the wall with chisels and not get shot. The reason why it's got a bit of blue paint on it is because what happened is that there were certain segments of the wall that was set up for tourists to be able to chip away at, and you could hire a hammer and a chisel, not a hammer and sickle, and you could go and knock off a little bit for yourself. And the guys who ran the hammer and chisel stores used to just go over in the morning and just get some spray paint and just spray all the chipped wall, because all the graffiti had already, you know, getting the flat piece. My auntie Christine in Denmark, she's got a flat piece. Which is quite cool. But this is, I mean, they could be from anywhere, really. Oh no, a little bit of it just fell onto my laptop, onto my keyboard. That's history. I'm just chipping it. I'll put it back. There's some other cool stuff in here. This is volcanic rock. That's from the top of Mount Etna. And this, my friends, this is from a very special place that very few people have ever been. Very famous place, but this was a rock on the top of it. Anyway, so moving on. Yeah, we've been here before. Fucking terrifying. I don't want to go back. I really don't want to go back. I'm the era that grew up as a kid, seeing things like Threads, When the Wind Blows, and Red Dawn, and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and all these post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear dystopias of the dystopian dramas of the 1980s. I grew up with them. Terminator, like they didn't make the future look great. Blade Runner did not make the future look great. And, this nuclear dread isn't an abstract concept. It's generational trauma. It really is. And now Trump has reversed over 30 years of nuclear testing moratorium. The expiry of the New START treaty, which was supposed to be from February next year, and there's a general breakdown of arms control, with the world already volatile, with Russia, China, the Middle East, tech instability, AI possibly taking over the world. I don't think it will, but reckless timing. And this is performative masculinity, isn't it? It's fucking nuclear policy as like ego fucking cosplay for the fucking orange terror. This isn't deterrence, this is theatre. This is World Wrestling Enterprises, WWE. This is WrestleMania. This is kayfabe. You know what I mean? This is our lives. I don't want another generation to grow up like I did, wondering if next day will be the last day. What's the point? What's the point of saving for the future? What's the point of having a pension? What's the point of worrying about your career when you're not going to have one because it's going to be taken away by a nuclear bomb tomorrow? Well, it could do. We don't know. That was the feeling in the 1980s. What's the fucking point? That's why we built so many disgusting buildings. Because you're like, well, they're only going to last about 10 years anyway, so we'll just throw any old shit up. Really fucking grim. I mean, in the 1980s, the hair was big. The existential dread was even fucking bigger. I remember trying to dig a nuclear fallout shelter in the back garden with my brother, as kids. I remember like him going, if we dig this fallout shelter, we'll be able to stay in there. And I said, what kind of bomb would this protect us from? He said, well, if a 1 megaton bomb went off in the middle of Liverpool city centre, we could live down in this bunker. And I went, well, what's a normal bomb then? How many megatons is it? And he's like, oh, it's about 50 now. Hang on, I'm going to just look this up because I don't want to misremember this story. Average megatonnage nuclear bomb. Okay. 200. Oh no, actually, modern weapons have yields ranging from about 100 kilotons up to several megatons, and the Tsar bomber was 50 to 80. And so there's kilotons and megatons. So there you go. Not great. The yields of 5.2 megatons have been reported for large weapons, constructed for single warhead use in the early 60s. Great. I'll put the shovel down. Put it down. What's the fucking point? It's a little kid going, what's the point? I just hope that I just fucking die, because quickly, because I don't want to die slowly like the poor bastards in When the Wind Blows, or like the fucking poor bastards in Threads who survive, for whom life is just horrific. Nightmare fuel, absolute nightmare fuel. And you know what? The government leaflets, you remember Survive and Protect, was it called? I remember those leaflets. I remember having talks in schools like what to do in a nuclear attack fucking drill in primary school. In the 80s. And like, we would joke about it because that's what you do when you're fucking terrified, innit? But it was always there. It was hanging above us like a sword of Damocles, this idea that we might be wiped out at any moment in a nuclear Armageddon. And Trump and his MAGA cunts want to bring that back. They want to bring that back for the world. Because fear is their currency, fear is how Trump got back into power. That and incompetence on the side of the Democrats and the people whose job it was to stop him becoming president, failing fucking miserably. Like a bunch of useless twats. So I'm trying to put me bit of the Berlin Wall away here. Our parents' generation swore that they wouldn't put another generation through that. They did. November 1989. Everyone said, "Oh, that'll be it. That's it. The Berlin Wall's come down. The Cold War is ending." By 1992, America and Russia had agreed to start denuclearizing. Getting nuclear disarmament, stop testing, and now here we are again. The same generation that said, won't put you through that again, voted. The vast majority of them voted. The vast majority of these people voted. Not all of them, but 4/5 of them voted to bring back the fear again. To bring back the fear. Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much. I'm 70, so this is just a return to normal. I actually blame Putin for this. If he hadn't mentioned developing the nuclear-powered missile, in effect a dirty bomb, I doubt this would be happening. Yeah, you got a point there. Putin is to blame, but I don't think another president would have done this. I don't think that if Kamala Harris had got in, she would have done this, or demolished half the fucking White House, to be honest with you. But thank you for the super chat. Maybe we should do a goal. I did 3 shows yesterday, and we got 1193 all day. So I'm gonna put a thing on for let's see. I will not nuke everyone. There you go. So yeah, 10 super chats, any colour, and if you do, I will not nuke everyone. There you go. Oh wow, it let me say that. There you go. Bad not giving a deranged speech about we need austerity. Last act of a desperate woman. Hair and Farage, 2 cheeks of the same backside. Well, a lot of Tories joined in with Nigel Farage's motion yesterday to join to leave the European Convention of Human Rights. Fucking Tories and refuck are one of the same. Refuck are just like the European Research Group. Do you remember them? The ERG. It's like that little Mark Fockwar fuckwit and that lanky bastards, the Rees-Mogg nightmare and all that lot. They're in the European Research Group, which basically was a big anti-European group. Because whatever. Anyway, get back to Trump. So we did become less stupid for a while. There was a time in the 1990s and 2000, well, probably until September 11, 2001, where humans were sort of getting there. I know things were kicking off in the Balkans and in Central and West Africa, but generally speaking, we were moving towards a point where humans weren't all fucking clobbering each other over the head with clubs anymore. People chose hope. There was a big investment in diplomacy, in treaties, in verification of nuclear power, nuclear generation, nuclear weapons. And it seemed like the world was going to work together so that the threat of nuclear Armageddon was quietly put away. It was the end of the age of extremes, as Eric Hobsbawm put it. This is from 1914 to 1991, which he calls the short 20th century. And I think he was right. Between sort of 91 and 2001, it just seemed like we were heading towards a very good place. Slowly, surely. Obviously, there were horrible things that happened, but at the same time, in those years, you had mega peace attempts to bring peace to the Middle East. We had the end of apartheid in South Africa. We had the end of the Troubles in Northern Ireland under the Good Friday Agreement. we had the end. I know it started, but also the end of the conflict in Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia, and you had a period where even Russia seemed like it was going to become a democracy, maybe under the leadership of Boris Yeltsin, who was a notorious drunk, unfortunately. But there you go. I mean, it all fell apart really on, was it the 1st of January 2000 when Putin became leader of Russia. And to be honest with you, I think he's had a hand in a lot of the horrible things that have happened since then. But yeah, we had anti-nuclear activism, we had peace movement, we had CND badges everywhere in the 80s. And, after the fall of the USSR and the breakup of the USSR into 15 constituent countries, for a moment it felt like the nightmare had fucking passed. And I'm really sad that Paula is saying that she feels like this is a return to normal when this shouldn't be normal. This should never, ever be normal. But I guess, yeah, if you were born in 55 and you know you've never known anything but that terror until the mid-90s, and then yeah, maybe that was the blip. Maybe we're supposed to live like this. But there's something else here as well. The amount of pollution, radiation, and problems that all the nuclear testing around the world has caused is insane. Like the amount of damage the 20th century did to this planet. America tested over 1,000 nuclear bombs, 1,000 nuclear weapons. They blew up to see what happened. Blew them up under the sea. They blew them up on islands like Bikini Atoll in what's now the Marshall Islands. They blew stuff up in Nevada. No, the reason why Las Vegas is a thing, I mean, it's just a bit of nowhere in the middle of the fucking desert. The only reason why it's there is because in the 50s, people used to go there so they could watch the nuclear bombs being tested on the horizon. They could watch the mushroom clouds go up, a pair of binoculars, make themselves go blind. And I just, yeah, this just means that Russia and China are going to escalate their rhetoric, their nuclear powers as well. It signaled to Iran and North Korea that hard power wins and that treaties are optional. It also, means that the arms race dynamics are revived, and they are not just destabilizing and kind of pointless, but also really fucking expensive. And on Saturday, it's going to be the 1st of November, and the Republicans have made it so all the people who get the SNAP food aid in America are not going to get it. Now, there is contingency funds. They can get it even though the government's shut down, but they're making it so that Americans can't get food. So the Americans starve and Americans go hungry to punish the Democrats, to say, they're holding literally American children hostage, and something crazy like 1/4 of all American children are on some kind of food welfare program. They're stopping America's children from having food in order to get through their cuts to Medicare, because they're making all these cuts because they've got to save money. They've got to save money. Meanwhile, Trump is building a big fucking disco, 80s tacky fucking Middle Eastern, something that Gaddafi, not a man known for his taste, something Gaddafi would put together, something that Idi Amin would put together. Do you know what I mean? This fucking disgusting this disgusting palace of just wanton disorder. So Trump can have parties in it. Can you see the parallels here with Boris Johnson? Like, Trump doesn't really give a fuck about being president. He just wants to enrich himself, and he just wants to party. He just wants to dance like a twat. That's all he wants to do. And yeah, I mean, the environmental devastation, which I already mentioned, that is at the worst possible time, with the worst possible leaders in the world and the worst possible fucking time. And the dangers of miscalculation are now so much greater than the 80s because there's more nuclear states than the 80s. There's faster kill chains. There's AI systems involved, which could which do fuck up all the fucking time. I asked AI the other day to list me, because I was doing a crossword, I list me all the elements that had 6 letters in, right? All the letters that have 6 letters in it, right? And it came up with argon and xenon. And do you know what? A child would look. How many letters in the word argon? And they could look at the word and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. A 5-year-old kid could do that as long as he knew how to count. And AI can't. I say, give me all the elements of the periodic table that contain 6 letters, and it gives me argon and xenon, and they're going to put that in charge of nuclear weapons. So good luck with everyone. Fucking hell. So yeah, disinformation is at an all-time high. Trigger happy population who seem to be a death cult. Let's face it, the Tories are a death cult. The refuck of a death cult over here. Having people come, to meeting up with people and from like working class backgrounds who work as electricians or plumbers, or they have a trade, and they're worried about inheritance tax. They're worried about the VAT on private schools. They're worried about not getting a fucking bank account with Coots. And I'm just sitting there going, mate, I hate to break this to you, but these things are never, ever going to touch you. They're never going to come within a fucking galaxy of you because you're not a multimillionaire. You weren't born rich. You didn't go to a posh private school like fucking Eton or Winchester. It's not going to affect you. But the rich, the neo-aristocrats have got working class people convinced that when they die, Labour's going to come and take all their money. Even though it's £1 million tax-free. £1 million tax-free. I don't think I've earned £1 million in my life so far. All the money I've ever earned, I don't think I've made £1 million so far. And here I am, 46, living, I'm not freezing to death anymore because I've got a new radiator fitted. But, I'm not particularly not well-travelled, put it that way, Some cool things have happened to me in my life, I've got to say, but not $1 million. No, not me. Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. The first marmalade thing. Sorry. Do you know how much these glasses cost? The first man-made thing. Not marmalade. The first man-made thing in space was a manhole cover put on top of an underground atomic bomb test. One image of it in 20,000 frames a second film. Wow. An underground atomic bomb test, and it put a manhole into fucking space. That is fucking crazy. Don't forget the hypersonic missiles. Yep. Not great. Miss Paula Thomas, I liked Ian Hislop's description of Trump's taste. Early Gaddafi or maybe late admin. I thought I had to sneeze again. If I do. Graham's AI pilot is failing. The first marmalade in space. I hate that Trump wanted to knock down the East Wing down in the night. It was beautiful, and now it's gone, says Bad Fairy. Yeah, but he doesn't care about beauty. He just cares about destruction and fear. That's what he banks on. That's what he preys upon. America's absolute love affair of living in fear. Why do you think they have so many guns? They love it. They love it when their children are going to school terrified of getting shot, dead, having their brains splattered out all over the wall by a AR-15. There's not much left. There's not much left of those kids, in these school shootings that they have every fucking day in America. But that's worth it for the Second Amendment. Well, the first half of the Second Amendment. We ignore the second half of the Second Amendment, but it's worth it. Said Charlie Kirk before a bullet took him out. Funny that. But it's the way he wants to go. So I'm not sad. I'm like, well, he went the way he wants to go. That's kind of poetic, isn't it? Isn't it? Is it not? No. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, young people are already dealing with climate dread and political instability, war in Europe. Now we're going to bonus pack of fear for us. Our childhood fucking anxiety, all back now. The chest tightening, the background hum of doom. Yeah, cool. Normalizing the apocalypse again. Because they're a death cult. The MAGA lot are a fucking death cult. They want people to die. They celebrate death. Every time someone dies, it's like, fuck yeah, they died. Let's make more people die. Because whenever someone dies, there's money to be made. This is horrible, but it's true. America knows this. This is why they don't do anything to try and curb the sale of weapons. And when anyone tries to say, hey, maybe we should register these things. Maybe we should have to have a license. Maybe we should have to have some training before you can get a license. Maybe we should know whose guns these are and whose bullets these are, so we can solve crimes really quickly. No, none of that. None of that. Why? Because here's the thing. Every time a group of innocent children are murdered with a dickhead fucking running around their school with a gun, every time that happens, the share price of the arms manufacturers goes up. You know what a big fucking jump for the arms manufacturers was? Sandy Hook. And Sandy Hook was the real watermark, the high watermark of the American psyche, because that was the point at which Americans decided en masse that it was more important for them to have their pew-pews than it was for their children to go into school and not have their brains splattered all over the wall. And every year, 50,000 people are killed with guns in America. It's more people now are killed with guns than die on the fucking roads, which is remarkable considering how dangerous the roads are in America. Oh my God. You know, not just the fact they're falling apart, but also the fact that they're just made so the cars never ever stop, no matter what. They've made it illegal for humans to actually go anywhere near the car zone. don't go on the car zone, or we'll put you in jail for jaywalking. That's a real thing that actually fucking happens. And you know, like, yeah, they're a death cult. They're just a fucking death cult. There's no two ways about it. They love their death. They love their children dying because it makes them more money, and they'd rather make money or see somebody else make money than have a life with their child. Isn't that so fucked? Isn't that the most fucked up thing you've ever heard? The satisfaction they get from knowing that Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Peter Thiel or someone with some investment in an arms company has made a bit more profit, bit more. They can take out a bigger loan, a tax-free loan from the bank, you know, a bigger tax-free loan, and they can use that to live off. It's funny that, isn't it? Dark 4x4, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. House of Long Shadows, John Carradine, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Vincent Price. I need to see it. Don't fancy looking after your parents' offspring any more than they do. I don't fancy looking after your parents' offspring any more than they do. Okay, thanks 4x4. No idea what that means, but thank you. Thanks anyway. Anyway, so we rebuilding of disarmament frameworks is urgent. It shouldn't be optional. And Britain and Europe really need to speak out about this. Silence equals complicity. And this is not about strength. It's about surrendering to fear. And public pressure is why testing was stopped last time. You know, that and the fall of the Berlin Wall, the breakup of the USSR. But, you know, people power really made a difference in that case. And if politicians refuse to lead, then the public must. And, you know, never again must mean never again. Not never again until Trump feels insecure. You know, because, you know, COVID and the climate crisis and the upcoming dot-com bubble bursting. I mean, that's not stressful enough, clearly. And, you know, this is taking us back to the moment when you realize, oh, humans might genuinely blow up the planet. And, you know, I don't want to have to feel this fear again. I don't want kids to have to feel this fear. I think we need some sanity in the room, which is not very present in modern day America, and it's not very present with the people who vote for refuck. We need to expose these bastards. There's one thing that we can do in this country. We need to talk to people who are falling for the refuck lies, who genuinely think the biggest issue in their fucking life is that some rich cunt's kid isn't going to be able to go to some fucking private school because the VAT on the fucking fees. You know, even though the price of going to a private school has like doubled in the last few years, but don't worry about that. You know, VAT or not. Plus, they don't have to put it through. They don't have to put it through like to the parents. The schools could just pay it. They're fucking rich enough. And then these fucking news stories about like this one nuclear nuclear powers. I say nuclear powers. What the fuck? This one private school that actually had to close down, and they're like, "Oh, this school had to close down. It's because of VAT." And it turns out that it actually closed down before the VAT thing came in. So yeah, history only repeats if we allow it to, and we don't have to do this. We don't have to go down this route, especially in this country. And you know, and I know that if Farage gets in, he is going to destroy any kind of relations that we have with the rest of Europe. He's going to be so far Trump's arse. It's going to be, he can see, he'll be able to see the future. Like the way that the world will go, or this country will go, if those fuckers get anywhere near power, is it will be one party state for the rich, which looks after the rich, and everyone else can fucking starve. Which is what you have in America right now. They have a one-party state. Don't forget it. Like, if the Republicans wanted to stop this government shutdown, they fucking could. They're choosing not to. They're choosing not to because they want the Democrats to look bad. And we've just seen in Argentina where Milei has plunged 50% of the population into fucking poverty, and yet they're still voting for him. Yeah. And it might seem sometimes like David and Goliath, this fight, but David won. Okay, gotta go over to the papers in a moment, but first I'll read some of your lovely messages. Ian Fleming told us how we should deal with billionaires like that, says Andy. Yep, send James Bond in to shag their wives and then throw them into a wood chipper. Ian Fleming wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. He did. And Roald Dahl wrote You Only Live Twice, which is the most racist of all the James Bond movies. How do the cops know who the bad men are if they all have guns? Well, that's what happened outside the synagogue, isn't it? There was an innocent guy who got shot dead by the police. One shot, headshot, because they thought that he was the assailant. If someone runs into a shopping mall with a gun, the best thing you can do is run away. If you get a gun out that you've got because you've gone shopping with your AR-15 because you got a carry law where you can walk around with a fucking gun to go and get some fucking donuts, like that's a normal thing to do. You go to Cinnabon with a fucking AR-15 because that's a normal thing to do. If you've got a gun, the police are all they know is there's a gunman on the fucking loose who's invariably white. So if you're white and you've got a gun and you're in the fucking shopping mall with your fucking big gun, showing off your big gun, there's a good chance to get shot in the head by the fucking police. A police who shoots 1,182 people they shot dead in 2016 when The Guardian bothered to count out how many people died from the police shooting them in 2016, because the FBI doesn't collate that information. And it's only if a police force wants to give the information to the FBI, it's a voluntary thing. So the FBI says, "Oh, there's about 200 people killed by cops last year," and it wasn't. It was literally 1,000 more than that. What about a good man with a gun? Yeah, good man with a gun's got to get shot as well by the police. And also, you can't stop a bullet with a bullet. It's actually impossible. So, yeah. Because once you've hit the bang, the bullet's already hit you. Because the bullet is traveling faster than the speed of sound. That's the bang. It's a sonic boom. It's a mini sonic boom. As the bullet Yeah. Hugo Drax from Moonraker equals Elon Musk. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to take everybody to space and start again because humans are bad. Fucking nutters. And Elon Musk has said he wants to die on Mars. Fucking send him. Just fucking send him one-way trip to Mars. I get like wound up about the fact that people out there are so thick. People believe the world is flat. In this day and age, it's been rebirthed, this idea that the world is flat, and everyone's on a big conspiracy. I'm part of the conspiracy because I've traveled around the world numerous times, and obviously I didn't go round. I didn't just continue going in one direction. So how can it be true? I've seen the stars in these places around the world. I've seen that They're different in different parts, but they're always consistent in where they're supposed to be. I've seen that the moon is upside down if you're in Australia. I've seen it for myself with my own eyes. And yet you've got people who are so thick, they're like, oh no, we're going to say that. We're going to say that the world is flat. You know, you got some absolute fucking dickheads out there. And I think we need to stop mollycoddling them. I think we need to just tell them that they're fucking dickheads, you know. But yeah, I saw an interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he, like me, just thinks this whole thing about putting a human on Mars is just bullshit. It's just absolute, it's never going to happen. Not in our lifetimes, because there's no point. And it's going to cost $1 trillion at least. But, you know, Nvidia's now a $5 trillion company, so they could pay for it, I suppose. But the logistics behind it are just insane. Getting to the moon was easy in comparison. And America's trying to get back to the moon, and they're failing miserably because they put it out to private enterprise. And we all know how we feel about putting things out to private enterprise. You know? Capitalism, yay! Oh no, another rocket's blown up. Fucking dickhead. But yeah, all these flat earthers and knobheads and people who think, you know, there's a secret cabal of lizards ruling the world when there's an unsecret cabal of old white men who we can actually see with our eyes running the world. But, you know, it's more funky to say there's lizards. They think, oh yeah, we're going to get to Mars. It's fine. Yeah, don't worry about climate change. We're going to live on Mars. Yeah. You'll have to stay on Mars for what, 5 years, is it? Until the planets get close enough to each other again. Yeah, you're not going to survive those 5 years. You're going to die of radiation poisoning. The little pellets from the sun, little bullets streaming from the sun, billions of them in every single fucking tiny bit of stuff. Billions of these bullets flying out the sun and just peppering your body, just perforating or your entire body, just going through you like you're not there, causing millions of little holes, damaging your DNA, smashing out your fucking pelvis. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that, living on fucking Mars. You're going to spend 5 years in a fucking spacesuit. Anyway, Lisa Davis, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. As someone who remembers the 80s, I worry about any future grandchildren. The world is too crazy and becoming more dangerous for all. Yeah, it's becoming more dangerous for all because the rich are getting away with it. We're allowing the rich to get away with it. We've got to stop. Got to stop. I think there needs to be a concerted effort to eat the rich. I'm sorry to say, you know, metaphorically, of course, because they might not taste that good. The moon is upside down. We're all going to die. Pete jumps out the window. Ah, my back. Liam says, I'm jealous that most of you got to enjoy your best years in a different time. It looks like I won't even get my best years, says Liam. Well, the thing is, I think that there's going to be a boomerang effect. There usually is. Like, Trump is so extreme to one way. I think that overwhelmingly at some point, and it might take a few years, America's going to swing back like a long way towards what we would possibly call the left here in the West. But obviously, the left doesn't really mean much in America. I mean, you've got Mondami, you've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you've got Bernie Sanders. So you do have people who are on the left in America. That is true. But the Democrat Party is not a left-wing party. It's the equivalent of the Conservatives, whereas the Republicans are to the right of refuck. They're like ultra UKippers. Ultra UKippers. The internet has allowed village idiots to find their tribe. It's very true, Bigger. It's very, very fucking true. Back in the day, village idiots would sit at home, you know, go to the pub, and they'll say something stupid, like, I think the world's flat. And everyone else in the pub will go, shut up, dickhead. You're round. I've just got in a round. Yeah, but you're going to have to get another round in, lad, for being so fucking stupid. All right, then. You know, and that was it. Now, the village idiots are finding other village idiots. And it turns out there's 1 million villages around the world. So there's 1 million fucking village idiots going around saying vaccinations give you I don't know, AIDS or something, or they give you autism or ADHD. Yeah, sure, mate. Sure. That's why, the number of children dying before the age of 5 literally went off a cliff when we started vaccinating against smallpox, polio, measles, mumps, rubella, all this shit that was just wiping kids out all over the world. And we got a vaccine against it. And then the dickhead's like, oh, I don't go taking a vaccine. Oh, no, I don't want it. It's not natural. They write on their phone. Imagine like someone saying to you, writing on the internet, I don't think the internet exists. I don't think the internet exists. And you're like, you just wrote that on the internet now, didn't? There's no reasoning with these people. They're beyond help. They're beyond anything. All we can do really is encourage them to shut the fuck up. Encourage them just to step out of public life and just keep to themselves. That's what we should really be doing. And we could. I mean, there are things we could put in place to ensure that people can't use anonymity to commit crimes, to threaten people, to blackmail people, to commit acts of racism, homophobia, bigotry. There are things put in place that were, on Meta, on Facebook, where it came up with like a fact check. Google used to employ, fact checkers. Not anymore. Not anymore. Just a fucking free for all. Just a fucking free for all. So we were going towards a point where if someone put something stupid on Facebook, something came up underneath it saying this isn't true. This is AI generated. But they've rolled all that back now. Yeah. Anyway, should we have a look at the papers? Should we have a look at the papers? How long have we got on our goal here? We have got exactly 30 minutes. So come on, peeps. We've got 30 minutes left on our goal. We can do this. Mamdani, AOC, and Bernie Sanders are all originally from New York. That is true. New York is a hell of a place, but also like New York, San Francisco, LA, all important port towns, and you generally find that even in very right-wing countries, very oppressive countries, very authoritarian countries, the port towns are usually the place where liberals are born, where people meet people from all over the world and realize the other is not the enemy, which is not the case here in Durham, which I know we have the Durham coast and we've got like a few fishing villages along it, but it's quite provincial up here. It's very white, and people are easily taken in by the lies of refuck. Way back, I did Facebook for a while. Stopped when an ex got in touch. Oh, sorry, Mr. Tisk. Doesn't sound like fun. Dark504 says stag night when all the men from one village would go to the next village to shag all the women to refresh the genetics. Okay. Lettuce Liz, this is from Bigger. Lettuce Liz did a YouTube interview with the Daily Express, and thousands of worshippers in the comments are saying how right and wonderful she is. Yeah, thousands of people who don't have mortgages, I suppose. Viper Scott is shrugging. Graham, what? I've had 2 invites to go to the US, says Andy. 3 places to stay, etc. Too damn dangerous with all the SA running around. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like I'm not going to America. I'm just not. But I booked my flight back to Panama this week. I'm going back in March. I'm going back for 4 weeks this time because I've got a lot of stuff still to do, and I was looking for the cheapest possible flight. And the problem is all the cheap flights go via America, but I was very, very lucky. I did find one to Costa Rica. I can get the bus from Costa Rica from San Jose over to Bocas del Toro. Yeah, it was because I got a bit of a discount because Canada Air fucked up when I was flying with them last time. It was only like 400 and how much was it? £468 it was return. £468 return to Central America via Canada. And I'm going to be able to see my mates, Cliff and Doug, in Toronto when I stop over there. I've got like a 5-hour layover, which is brilliant. Just enough time to head into Toronto, have myself a cup of coffee with some maple syrup in it. It's really good. and yeah, get over there. And yeah, it just really kind of just hit me, like, just how fucking expensive just getting around this country is. It's off the fucking charts. Like, now to go to London just on just a normal train, like not on a fucking super fast train, particularly not on a train that doesn't smell of effluent, because all our trains smell of effluent for some reason. That's a thing in this country. Not a train, that I get some free food or a free drink on board, like I will on the flight. I'll be able to have as many beers as I like on the flight. You're talking about 100. Let's have a look. I'll look it up now, right? So if I wanted to go, let's say I want to go today from Durham. So let's have a look how much it's going to be. Durham to, let's just spell Graham. Durham to London. Any. Okay, and return. Open return. Let's get an open return, right? And I want to go today. Now, open return to London. Full train. Oh my God. So there's literally no train available this morning. All the trains are full this morning, and later trains, maybe this is a glitch. I've not experienced this before. Then again, I've never tried to get a train on a day before. These are all saying they're full. Fuck. What even is this? Okay. This is bizarre. No, this is a lie. Oh, I see. No open return. You can't get an open return anymore. You've got to buy 2 singles. I forgot. For Durham to London, there is no. So let's say we come back. Let's say we come back on November the 1st. Okay, we come back on Saturday. Okay, right. So let's have a look. Oh, hang on. Oh, that was the date out. All right. Okay, so I'll do the date back. I'll do Tuesday. Fucking hell. All right, let's have a look. Durham to London. This is fun, isn't it? You can just sit there while I look things up on my phone. Jesus wept. It is £155.30. And it's a rail replacement bus. Oh my God. Oh, hang on. That's just the one out. Holy macaroni. Wow. Wow. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I said that it was 100 and something, right? Standard class, £223.29. Or this is for like a 3-hour train journey, if that. Or I could go first class, which is a tenner less than what I've just paid for a flight to Costa Rica via Canada. But I get a free a beer. If I go first class, I think I get a beer and a bottle of water. So that's worth it. My God. I'm sorry for just getting distracted by this, but that is absolutely abhorrent. £233 return. And yes, I know you can buy a ticket like 6 months in advance or whatever, and it's a lot cheaper, but that is just fucking bonkers. And you might not even get a fucking seat on these trains. Viper Scott says, all hail the badgers! Badger, mushroom. Thank you very much to Viper Scott there. There you go. We fly to Rome for a day next week, £75 each return. I mean, the joke about that, right? Those trains that I picked for the 233, right? Rail replacement bus on the way there. Rail replacement bus. It wasn't even the fucking train. Paying £233 to get a fucking bus to London. A bus. Have you got the bus to London? I have. I've done it many fucking times. Wow. £233. And what if you got the 450 quid one, the first class one? Do you get a separate bus? What happens then? I've got a taxi to London before, right? I've not paid for it, but getting a taxi to London is cheaper than that. A taxi to London and back is cheaper than that. It's cheaper to hire a car for yourself, pay for the petrol, drive down to London, do whatever you need. You get a fucking speeding fine on the way down. You get a parking fine when you get there. Still be fucking cheaper. Going first class on a coach to London. I don't know how we got so derailed. But should we have a look at the papers? It's only really the private eye, isn't it? That this is the only paper that you need to really read. I'll find this. This is very much what I was thinking after that horrific woman, the Sarah Puchin, said that absolutely awful thing on that interview on Talk TV. So this is an article in the private eye. Minority representation on TV causes outrage. There has been widespread support for prominent refuck MP Sarah Puchin after she complained about the overrepresentation of minorities on television. Said one angry viewer, "She's right. Every time you turn on the telly, there's another Reform MP being interviewed by Laura Kunsberg." She added, "I respect their way of life and their strange customs, but refuck MPs comprise only 0.7% of the House of Commons, yet Nigel Farage is on Question Time more often than Fiona Bruce. I'm not prejudiced. Some of my best friends are swivel-eyed loons, but enough is enough. There are too many people with angry red faces on television." I fucking love that. Dog 4x4, my friend. You sound like you're getting old, Graham. Where's your baggy trousers? Baggy trousers, dirty shirt, pulling hair and eating dirt. Teacher comes to break it up. Bang on the head with a plastic cup. All the small ones tell tales. Walking home and crushing snails. Thank you very much to Dark 4x4. Baggy trousers. Well, you can't see much. I could be literally naked from the waist down. You wouldn't know unless I, chose to. You have to go onto my other channel. You have to go onto my OnlyFans for that kind of shit. But thank you very much for the Dark 4x4. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Anyway, my friend, that is very kind of you. Right, I gotta head over to the papers. Chief Prosecutor Khan groped and had sex with aide. This is a really disturbing story about Karim Khan, who is one of the ICC prosecutors who has been he's stepped back from his post the last few months, after an allegation that he groped and had sex with a junior member of staff over an 11-month period. If this turns out to be true, that is absolutely disgusting. And me being me, I tend to I tend to believe the victims rather than the people who are saying it wasn't me. Then again, he is hated by the people of running the country of Israel. So yeah, maybe there's something going on in the background there. I don't know, but I'm more likely, because so many women are abused by men. You're talking about like 1 billion women, 1 billion with a B, have been or will be abused by men in their life. So when you talk about, oh, well, it's only 1 in 3 women who get abused. Yeah. 1 in 3 women worldwide is a billion, is a billion. So think about that next time someone goes, not all men. Yeah. Enough of them now, eh? Chrissy, thank you very much. Reform are overrepresented on the BBC. They absolutely are, Chrissy, for clicks and giggles. That's why they let them on all the time, because they know more people will watch. I've switched to stretch denim, got to look respectable, says Dart 4x4. Well, yeah. I tell you what, though. These jeans, these are Levi's. These are fucking Levi's, right? And when I was a kid, I wore Levi's all the time because they were great. They lasted forever. And as long as I stayed 32-inch fucking waist and 32 length leg, I was fine. I never had to throw away a pair of fucking Levi's because they'd frayed. I've had these for a few months, right? I'm going to take them back. And already, like, they've got a massive fucking rip in them because the fabric, the denim, the fabric is just like so fucking thin now on jeans. When I was a kid, it was a lot thicker. And it's not me going, oh, when I was a kid, Kelly, these were massive, which they were. But this is more to do with like shrinkflation and giving people less, charging them more. And it really pisses me off because I sort of bought these because I just needed a fucking pair of jeans because the ones I had were wrecked. And I was like, I just need to get a pair of jeans. And I looked around a few places. I'm like, I went to TK Maxx, obviously. But I was like, fuck this. I'm just gonna go somewhere. I know I can grab the right size and grab it and leg it, grab and leg. But these have got to take back. Anyway, Pete Danicas. Oh no, Graham broke the mystery. I thought he was wearing gold hot pants. Such a disappointment. I'm going to be in a surly mood all day today. Pete Dancat. If I get enough super chats one day, I will do a show in gold hot pants. I have no problem with doing that whatsoever. The super chat level would have to be quite high for me to go and do that. I remember when I was on the island with Marcus and people were throwing in money for me to get naked and jump in the water. And I was just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not. And people kept on throwing money in. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting naked and throwing it. And everyone's like laughing, going, ooh, he's getting. And I just remember thinking at the time, like, if I was a woman, this would be so inappropriate. I'm trying to talk about politics and everyone's going, hey, take your clothes off. I've given you a $5. Why don't you take your clothes off, you bastard? I'm like, yeah. So I'm not doing that. But gold hot pants, I'd be up for wearing a pair of gold hot pants for a laugh. Please don't, Graham, says Elle. Oh, thanks. Chat, go for it, says Alistair. I haven't said how much it's going to cost yet. Prostate test from age 50 would save thousands. Benefit of early cancer screening proved in trial. This is fantastic news on the front cover of the Times. So for everyone, so me in 4 years' time, I'm going to be able to get a prostate test, which is fantastic. And testing for cancer has got so much better in recent years, and now cancers that were a death sentence just 20 years ago are no longer a death sentence. And if you catch these motherfuckers early, there's a very good chance that you will survive. And so cancer is not, it's still fucking scary, don't get me wrong. And 1 in 2 of us are going to experience it in our lifetimes. But it's not quite as scary as it was. And if we can get this screening, if we can get this stuff early, if we can get it before it spreads to, metastasizes or whatever it's called, metastases, whatever it's called, that word, that means it spreads to other organs. Then the survival rate goes up. And you know what? It's fucking worth it. It's worth it, especially for younger people who have their whole lives ahead of them. You get taken out by cancer and all the money that the government has invested in you, just from a purely capitalist point of view, it's gone. All the money that we spent on educating, on feeding you effectively for the first sort of 21 years of your life, all the subsidies you get as a kid that you don't get as a grown-up necessarily. And, if you die in your 20s, you've not paid that back, have you? Have you? But yeah, from a compassionate point of view as well, we just don't want people dying of cancer. But it's wonderful that there are so many people out there who dedicate their lives to trying to stop people dying of cancer. I think that's absolutely incredible, and I won't knock them, and I won't make shit up about them and say that they're trying to spread. What do they say? The people from Medicine Sans Frontier are trying to spread autism by trekking through a jungle for 2 days in eastern Congo to go and give some kids a polio vaccination. I'm going to give you mild learning difficulties. Okay. And you become obsessed with trains. All right. Or you can die of polio. Okay, I'll take the train obsession. Can I have the train obsession? That sounds good. I want that, Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. For the Gold Lammy Hot Pants Fund, thank you very much. So we've got £2, just another £4,998 to go. and I will present an entire show standing up in hot pants. I've lost too many friends to cancer, says Bad Fairy. Yep, same here. I lost my sister to cancer. It's just horrible. It's just fucking, it's a horrible, horrible disease. It's a horrible, horrible thing that happens to humans. And the snake oil salesman will always try and tell you there's some magical fucking way of getting around it, you know, just with positive mental energy. You know, also buy my fucking supplements, my vitamins, or whatever bollocks I'm selling you. When the reality is, we have things that fucking work. You know, Mike Dix is still with us because of chemotherapy, radiotherapy, immunotherapy. These things fucking work. And although they don't work for everybody, they work for some people, whereas placebos don't work for fucking anyone. The tablets on off while waiting for gender identity clinic required some checks, even prostate. There's an issue, so needed the tablets anyway. Funny, could have saved my life to Turf's dislike. Yeah, so if you hadn't got in for that, then you might not have found out about that at the time, Nell. So that's fucking fantastic that you did. And I hope all the turfs burn in hell. I really want hell to exist because there's so many people now that I just want to, you know, I just imagine Charlie Kirk looking up at us. And Dark 4x4 says, touch me now, I spent £20 on a pair of boots that fell apart in a couple of weeks, wearing £10 trainers last night. Now, lasting well, it's not right. Yeah. Alvone said, I lost my mum to cancer. I'm so sorry, Alvone. It's really, yeah. With I don't know if I mentioned it at the time, but when I was in Liverpool over the summer, the reason I was in Liverpool for a few days is one of my old school friends who used to get the bus home with me, sadly passed away from cancer, and he was just like the nicest bloke you'll ever fucking meet. He was 47 years old, just taken. Yeah, I think everyone knows someone who's been taken by cancer. And yeah, I just want a world in which most people are hoping, you know, or giving money or even, you know, looking into ways of stopping these cancers. Because don't forget, every organ of your body can get cancer, and there's various different cancers that organ of your body can get. So it's a bit of a game of whack-a-mole, really. And what one cancer treatment that works for one particular cancer for one particular organ might not work for someone else who has the same, you know, a different cancer in that same, or even the same cancer in the same fucking organ. It'll work for one person, it won't work for somebody else. I don't know if in my lifetime we're ever going to find a cure-all, but there are some really promising things, some really fucking promising things that we're seeing at the moment. So I do have hope for that. I really do. Patrick McCarthy, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, my friend. That's very kind of you. Man assaulted for removing flags from lampposts. Byline Times reports, take care of doing this. Don't go alone. Yeah, the people putting up those flags are fucking nightmare people. They're not nice people. They're thugs, racist thugs, and they want the world to know how much they want to suck Nigel Farage's cock. That's why they put up these flags everywhere. They're like, Nigel, look at me, Nigel. It's all for you, Nigel. The guy who was putting up a fucking flag fell off the fucking ladder, didn't he? Woke up in A&E, the daft twat. Oh, what a shame. Tears. Lee Corn, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. The 9th out the 10th. Oh, and we got the 10th out of 10. Confetti. Woo! So thank you to everyone who's dropped in the super chats this morning. Putting AI in charge of nukes. Have they never seen Fail Safe? Great movie, based on the same source material, I think, as Dr. Strangelove, but they decided to make Dr. Strangelove into a comedy. Whereas Failsafe, Jack Lemmon? No, not Jack Lemmon. Not Peter Fonda. His dad. Henry Fonda. Am I misremembering this? Maybe Jack Lemmon is in Failsafe. I'm not sure. I'm going to look it up now. But just off the top of my head, great film. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. The phone call at the end. Anyway, Yuri, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Lost my partner to brain cancer 3 years ago. My father, youngest brother, uncle and sister have all had cancer. Hashtag fuck cancer, says Yuri. I'm so sorry, Yuri. That is fucking horrible. Brain cancer. Oh, God. Thanks for the super chat. And Yuri, my heart goes out to you. And I think there's, you know, I'm not alone in saying this, but there are so many people in the chat, so many people watching this, so many people out there who have been in similar situations who know just how shit it is, just how fucking shit it is. So yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It's really fucking shit. What else? I'd rather have put a trans flag and more next to the shit flag. Take back the flag, show inclusion and all are welcome. Yeah, put up trans flags all over your village. That'd be really fucking awesome. I'd love to see that. War Games, the only film about computers and things going wrong. It is War Games with Matthew Broderick. He was in War Games, wasn't he? Ferris Bueller. War Games, I don't think it's the only one about computers and things going wrong, but they do go wrong. But then, you mess it up playing tic-tac-toe. Henry Fonda and Larry Hagman. So J.R. Ewing was in it. Wow. Great film. Great film. These flag shaggers, it's always performative. Look at me. Look how a patriot I is. Yeah, Andy, you're right. It is the ultimate. What's it called? What do they accuse us of? When they want people to when performative, what's it called? There's a phrase for it, isn't there, that they call us, where they say, oh, you're just being performative, you're just being you don't really care, you just want to look like you care or something. There's a term for it. I'm sure someone's going to tell me in the chat. But yeah, putting up flags and wearing poppies as well. Yeah. What's it called? Justice framing. No, I can't believe I've forgotten this. It's too early in the morning. Let me have a swig of coffee and I remember it. Maybe I'll remember it. Sheeple, jingoism. Now, what's the phrase that they use to when they're talking about us and they say, oh, they don't really care about virtue signaling. Thank you, Bunty Joy, 1800. Yes. Yeah, virtue signaling. Like putting up fucking flags in your village. Is that virtue signaling or what? You're literally putting up a signal to show how fucking virtuous and how much you love your country and want to suck Nigel Farage's cock. That is what you're doing. It's like wearing a poppy. Poppies are the ultimate virtue signaling. Look at me. This shows I care. This shows I care about the people who died in trenches 110 years ago. I really give a fuck about them. I honestly care about them so much. Lest we forget. Lest we forget. Lest we forget. What did we forget? What was it? What was it again? Lest we forget that, I don't know, don't let Queen Victoria's grandchildren go to war with each other. That's probably the main takeaway from World War One. Don't let the posh boys tell all the working class boys to go over the top and run into the machine guns. There you go. Virtue signaling. Thank you very much for everyone who dropped that into the chat. Maybe you look at the chat, says Ernie Burns. I did. I was looking at the chat. That's where I got the virtue signaling. Bunty Joy was the first one to say virtue signaling. Did anyone say it before them? No, they didn't. Don't make me come amongst you with furious vengeance. I shall smite you. You shall all be smote. Neighbour lowered his flag for Charlie Kirk. Is it one fewer Nazi or one less Nazi? What's the correct grammatical term? Anyway, going on to the mirror here, we shall remember, shall we? And then we've got we've got a spoiler at the top for anyone not watching Celebrity. What's it called? Celebrity Chase? No, Celebrity Traitors. And then we've got Palace Epstein scandal. MPs pile pressure on King over Andrew. Not surprising. Reeves illegally rented out her family home. I mean, she didn't get some permit that she needs to get, and obviously the Daily Mail is going to make absolute loads of hay out of this. And I think it's a non-story. But apparently in the particular constituency in which her family home is, you need a particular license if you're going to hire out your home to people. It'll be like finding out that someone's got an Airbnb, but they don't actually pay the local Airbnb tax or something. And then we've got a really horrible story. Kirsty here, tearful Kirsty. Thug kicked me like a football. That is really fucking grim there. And then we've got the Daily Express. God, this is like the fucking twins, isn't it? The twins are British. What's the point of these two newspapers? Why don't they just like amalgamate into one? You know, like Whizzer and Chips. And happy days for Fonz star Henry at 80. The Fonz is 80. If you weren't feeling old, you will now. Sex attacker migrant was given 500 quid to leave Britain. Is the front cover of the Daily Express there. Listen, right? Come here, right? Come here. I'd rather they give him 500 quid than him to take it to court, which would cost, I don't know, £50,000, £100,000, £500,000. I don't know how much courts fucking cost these days. You know, seems to me that the headline there should be canny handlers of disruptive fucking sex offender asylum seeker, whatever you want to call him, saved the taxpayer £49,500 by getting the horrible little twat to just fuck off in the cheapest way possible. And they needed 6 people on the fucking flight with him because he was causing so much trouble. I mean, maybe that was cheaper than getting an extra person to do the danger pay. How much would you charge to get on a flight to go to where was he sent to? Ethiopia. To get on a flight to Ethiopia, there and back, with a guy who's trying to fucking kill you. I might charge about 500 quid, to be honest with you. Anyway, the First World War was a family argument in which millions died. Yeah, it was literally Queen Victoria's grandchildren going to war with each other. They were all cousins. Her agent was supposed to tell her if she needed a license, but didn't. If the agent was managing the property for her, they're supposed to hold the license. Yeah, it's a non-story. Several years ago, before COVID, my brother told me that anyone having their kids vaccinated was committing child abuse. I have 2 kids, both vaccinated. I'm expected to be nice to him. I won't be nice to him, Lee. I'd be having fucking words. How dare they equate the miracle of vaccines that have saved millions of children all over the world for years. For years. We've had vaccines now. We've had the technology for vaccines pretty much for 200 years. But as vaccine technology has developed, we got the COVID vaccine, which saved the lives of millions, mostly old people. Kids weren't affected by it so much. But there are people who are immunocompromised who can't get a vaccination and they rely on herd immunity. And then you got babies like Riley Hughes over in Australia. A little baby died of fucking whooping cough because she couldn't have the vaccination, and her parents relied on herd immunity. And because all these knobheads running around going, don't get your kids vaccinated. You see, the thing is with anti-vaxxers, the thing you got to understand is these people are eugenicists. And that's what you got to point out to them. They want the weak babies to die. Just like, at the beginning of the film 300, where they look at a baby and they decide whether the baby's strong enough, and if the baby isn't strong enough, they throw it off a cliff. Yeah, that's what anti-vaxxers want. That's the future that anti-vaxxers want. They are prepared to sacrifice their own children if they're weak to give evolution a helping hand. And that is social Darwinism. That is eugenics. End of. They want children to die in order to, I don't know, make the human race stronger or something. I don't know. I don't fucking know. We don't have to live by the rules of the fucking jungle anymore. It's fine. We've got antibiotics. We've got modern medicine. We've got surgical procedures, mate. Don't worry about it. No, but what about evolution? Would someone think about evolution? I think that stopped a while ago, mate. The Habsburg was basically Wanning, says Harushi. Yeah. We got Plum saying, I learn a lot on this channel. Thanks all. About 1 million died on our side in World War One. Yeah. Because Queen Victoria's kids had a fucking fight. Grandkids had a fight. I saw an interesting film last night called The Last Sacrifice about ritual killing in the UK and the films it's inspired. Ooh, Jesus. Unfortunately, you can't vaccinate against stupidity. Yeah, but you can tell them to shut the fuck up. This is why something that we should do. Honestly, I think we're getting to a point where we need to bring back the asylums. I never thought I'd say this. Care in the community got absolutely ridiculed when it first came out in the 1990s, but to be honest with you, I think it was a good thing. Back in the 90s, they were closing down these asylums that had women in who had been locked up for 50 fucking years. They're in their 70s. What was that? What was the reason they had mental health problems? What was the reason they were crazy? They had a child out of wedlock in the 40s. That's why. That's why. And they've been locked up till the 90s. Locked up, given medicine each day to keep them subservient. Some of them were given lobotomies. Fucking lobotomized. So yeah, care in the community. Brilliant. Okay, bring it on. Get rid of these horrible fucking institutions that at the time were fucking disgraceful. But I think we need to bring back imbecile asylums. Like, just to, get them out of get them offline. Get them off the internet. Don't allow any connectivity. Put them in a room with a ball. They can bounce the ball. Or you could give them like bubbles and they could just blow the bubbles all day. And they wouldn't go online and try and convince a young mother to not vaccinate her baby against deadly childhood diseases. They won't be able to because they'll be in the imbecile asylum. I mean, it's not very PC. It's not very woke. It may help. I don't know. Are you going to shut up now? Are you going to stop spreading lies on the internet? Are you going to stop harming children? Then, okay, we won't put you in the imbecile asylum. Can't get loads of shit in the chat now, aren't I? I'm scared to look at it. Graham, you can't throw people in jail for being stupid. Actually, I think we do. I think we do. There's not many competent criminals in jail, is there? The problem is science is equated to religion in the minds of most people, and most people don't really understand or believe in religion and think science is the same. That's a very good point, Ernie. Yeah, this false equivalence of science and religion, where science is as far from religion as you can possibly get, as the words of the Royal Society in nullia verba, is it the on no one's word. Don't take anyone's word for it. Have no faith in whatever anyone tells you. You experiment, and if you can do that experiment and carry it out again and again, it's repeatable. It's seen all over the world. Then that becomes a leading scientific theory, which isn't an idea. It's something that has been proven time and time again. And a theory will only last as long as the one thing that stops it from actually working. And when asked what would deter an evolutionary biologist once was asked what would deter him from believing in evolution, and he replied, a rabbit fossil in a Precambrian rock strata. Oh no, that wouldn't make him not believe in evolution. That would make him doubt evolution. A rabbit fossil in a Precambrian rock strata. For the Anything Fund, thank you, Veg Pie. Veg Pie doesn't mind me saying that idiots should be locked away for their own good. Actually, not for their own good, for the good of us, for the good of society. We need these people to get offline. George Washington, December 1775, vaccinated his army. Really? Wow, that early. That's mad. I know Jenner. Didn't he vaccinate his own child? Good job that worked, eh? I bet it was someone else's child. I like the guy who covered himself in lemon juice because he thought the camera couldn't see him. Says storyteller because teller was taken. Yes. Religious people read the book and become humanists. Yeah, that often happens. I've read the Bible, and that's one of the things. The Bible and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as a kid, reading those things made me very, very atheist. Thank God we had the Child Act in the UK. My mother-in-law became anti-vax by listening to TikTok videos. Yeah, we've got to stop them. And also sue the platforms for promoting them. Like, if someone puts an anti-vax video on TikTok, that TikTok should get a fine for spreading dangerous misinformation, deadly misinformation, which is something that, I think we need to look at. Anyway, so we're going to go back to the papers. Starmer signals rise in basic rate of income tax to avoid austerity. Now, this is on the front cover of the I newspaper. I don't know. I don't know if they're actually going to do this. I think I'll be quite surprised if they do put income tax up. I think they're going to do something that's only going to affect rich people, and everyone else is going to be the sigh of relief. And they'll say, well, we said we weren't going to tax working people. These are not working people. These are people who earn more in their sleep than you do in your entire lifetime. Reeves eyes 2p income tax rise. Starmer leaves door open to increase as he refuses to back own manifesto promises. And there's a story here. I never knew Himmler was my grandfather. And it's not Nigel Farage. Surprising. How to walk in heels like a princess. Useful stuff for me there. Next time I go out in my heels. I've been sober for 30 years, says Marcus Brigstock. Love is different, unfiltered. Okay, cool. Thank you, Marcus. And then we've got in the Daily Telegraph here, Juan Carlos defies affair with cold Diana. Spain's former king, Juan Carlos, has denied he had an affair with Diana, Princess of Wales. Reeves unlawfully rented out a house. That's a story on the Mail, obviously. 100,000 young men flee in Ukraine fighting, and we've got prostate screenings would save 1,500 a year. We've got Tom Daly on the Traitors. We've got Down Cemetery Road here, which has got 5 stars. Really good reviews for this. This is it's Emma Thompson and what's her name? This is killing me now. Alice from Luther. She was in the Stephen Polyakov films. Jesus. How can I figure her name? This is going to be the question on the chase, isn't it? On the final. And it'll be like, what's the name of the woman who played Alice in Ruth Wilson. Ruth Wilson. Look, it hasn't come up on the chat yet. That hasn't come up on the chat. Ruth Wilson. So Ruth Wilson and Emma Thompson, Down Cemetery Road. Sounds really good. It's on Apple TV though, so you might have to find different ways of getting it. Grooming victims accuse Farage of degrading remarks over abuse. This is worth getting into actually here on the Guardian front page. 5 women have asked for an apology from Nigel Farage after he suggested they were not victims of grooming gangs. What a piece of shit. Like, he is politicizing this inquiry. And one of the women who said that they're not going to be on the inquiry if Jess Phillips is on the inquiry has deep links with Refuck. They are politicizing an inquiry over the mass rape of children. And they sit around the fucking table, these disgusting, privately educated, neo-aristocratic cunts, and they say, how can we make some political mileage out of this? Fucking hate them. Hate them. I really hope it's painful, Nige. I really hope it's painful. When the glorious day comes, when the big, beautiful day comes for you, I hope it's fucking painful, you piece of shit. Hurricane Melissa, colossal storm slams into Cuba after leaving Jamaica reeling. We've got ceasefire at risk as Israel carries out Gaza strikes, to the surprise of nobody. 2-child benefit cap must go, Labour told, which I mentioned yesterday. And failing to abolish the 2-child benefit cap would wreck government's child poverty ambitions and risk creating levels of hardship not seen under a Labour government for more than half a century. Absolutely. I genuinely think, okay, who knows what's going to happen in this budget on November the 26th? Yeah. But I will be surprised if they don't lift the 2-child benefit cap and if they don't bring in a income tax that is targeted towards the most wealthy in society, that the majority of us won't have to pay. I think that's what they're going to go for. I genuinely do. Okay, so next up, we've got The Independent here. Migrant mistakenly free from jail was paid £500. We've read that. Hurricane Melissa hits Cuba and heads for Bahamas after 115-mile-an-hour wind turns Jamaica into disaster area. And Lammy, interview with David Lammy here, saying, I was spat on for being black, but UK is not racist. Okay. Deputy PM launches deeply personal attack on Nigel Farage's refuck for pitting neighbour against neighbour, feeding fear and fueling outrage, and recalls how the country stood up to the skinhead gangs of his childhood. David Lammy has insisted he does not believe Britain is a racist country, despite experiencing prejudice while growing up. So, yeah, some people out there hope for a better future, I guess. I'm going to come to, we'll go to the star first. This is to do with a charity fund that was set up in the name of Ricky Hatton, who passed away earlier this year. And then we've got the Metro here, Return of the Witcher, but it's a different person's face, so I don't know what's going on there. Now, jail farce, migrants paid to go quickly. We've just had that, right? And then we're going to go over to the Financial Times, because this has got some interesting investigative journalism. Remember that? Remember when journalists used to like investigate stuff instead of just giving their fucking opinion about things, which is what they do these days. And there's an advert for a fucking radiator. Jesus Christ! Go away! Oh, I'm going to punch a radiator the next one I see. That's probably not going to be a good thing for my hand to do. Anyway, Mittal joint venture brought Russian oil transported on blacklist ship. Mittal is a Indian company, and there you can see them these are different pictures. Satellite imagery shows 4 sanctions listed vessels which are being met by the ship that's owned by Mittal, this Indian company, for ship-to-ship transfers before the journey's last leg. So what they're doing is the tanker is coming from Russia with the fuel. It gets to international waters outside of India, calm waters, and then another vessel, an Indian vessel of the same size, comes alongside, and they simply pump the oil from the Russian vessel into the Indian vessel, and then that Indian vessel can go into a port in India, no problem. And that's what they're doing. And this is an insane amount. They've bought almost $280 million worth. Okay, this isn't just 4 little ships, okay, meeting up in the Indian Ocean to grab some fuel. This is $280 million worth of oil that has been bought by this company, and it's a guy called Lakshmi Mittal, and it's his energy joint venture that he has. It's really bad. It's really bad. But if you put sanctions, people will get around sanctions. If you tell people not to smuggle stuff and you're going to clamp down on smuggling, people will find ways to smuggle stuff if there's a demand for it. And obviously there's a demand for oil in India. We need to be smarter than this. We really need to be smarter than this. Roald Dahl made a film called To Olivia, who died because he did not have a job. Oliver, who died. It was his daughter. His daughter died because she didn't have a job. His daughter died of measles, I think, Roald Dahl. Someone has recently looked at posh radiators now, and Graham will be bombarded with ads about them. All hail the algo. I know. Like, Jesus Christ. I bought the radiator. I went online, wrote radiators, bought the radiator, and now I'm just getting adverts for radiators for the rest of my life. So yeah, and then we've got the Fed story in America. The Fed has cut rates by a quarter point to signals end to quantitative tightening. The Federal Reserve said yesterday it would stop trying to shrink its balance sheet in December as it cut interest rates by a further quarter percentage point, which will be heralded, I'm sure, by the twats in the White House and on Wall Street. Fresh accounts cast out on second city's cost cuts. This is Birmingham is pushing through dramatic savings after effective bankruptcy 2 years ago. So yeah, that's happening. Sorry, that was another. I realize you couldn't see it, but it's this story here on the left of the FT. The fit. I checked out the Androchrome stuff. I was debunking QAnon. Guess who I kept out getting adverts for? Bullshit, probably. I finally got around to watching Chernobyl, says Yuri. Frightening stuff. It's fantastic, isn't it? Isn't it so good? Like, it's a horror movie. That was, we were talking about horror movies last night. It wasn't talking about TV. But like, as a horror movie, fucking hell. The ambience, low-level hum of the soundtrack in the background, just like the way the way everything looks, it's terrifying. It isn't a terrifying uh, TV show, and it really shows you just how dangerous this radiation stuff is. Something that many people don't understand. People who want to go to Mars, for instance, also people who go sunbathing. It's a choice. It's not a choice I make but it's a choice. Anyway, Google says you need another radiator. I don't need another radiator. Stagflation, here we come, says Ernie Burns. I think the bubble's going to burst, mate. I think the bubble's going to burst at some point. So a couple of super tankers turn up full of oil, and no one says where they get that from. They say we found it. Yeah, we found some oil in the middle of the ocean. It's just lying around. Just sucked it up with a straw, a plastic straw. Obviously, none of those bloody none of those paper straws. This is what Labour need to do. They need to find something that pisses people off on a daily basis, and they need to do away with it. So Trump did this with plastic straws. He said, "Oh, we're going to bring back plastic straws because these paper ones, everyone complains about them." You need to find like a little thing that niggles people, and you need to go after that. Just to give a win, to Labour. But tomorrow when I talk to Phil about on the agenda, one of the things I'm going to be talking about is the fact that Labour had a huge win this week. An absolutely monumental win when the Renters' Rights Bill came into law. You heard anything about it? If I was in charge of Labour, everyone would know. Absolutely everybody would know. Everyone would be talking about it. I would run a TV campaign reminiscent of when they were privatizing the fucking gas companies back in the 1990s, I think it was. If you see Sid tell him, I'd rerun that campaign, and it'll be like, we'll make up a name for someone if you see them, tell him, and we'll show all these fucking slum landlords, getting told that they've got to look after their fucking their rentees, their renters from now on, that they've got to do that. They can't just give fixed term letting where you sign up for 6 months, and then when you get there, you realise there's no hot water and there's black mould and you can't leave. You're locked in for 6 months because you signed the contract. None of that anymore. They're not allowed to advertise for a place and then give it to someone who offers more money. They're not allowed to just throw people out of the whim. Section 21, it's gone. I mean, Section 28's back, but Section 21 is gone. Different things that they're sections of, but the idea of just throwing people out, you've got to give them loads of notice now, quite rightly. And Labour didn't bother to tell anyone. If you see Keir, tell him. If you see Nigel, tell him to fuck off. Says Nick and Chat. That'd be a good campaign, wouldn't it? Queuing for hours in airports in Europe pisses people off. They could start there. Yeah, could. Definitely. So a couple of super tankers turn up full of oil and no one... Oh, I've heard that one. If you see Nigel, tell him to fuck off. Says Andrew. Everyone's saying that. If you see Nye, tell him. Nye Bevan. I do the same with camera stuff, says Yuri. What? Oh, I looked up androchrome from a chemical supplier, around £12 a gram. It's just oxidized adrenaline, says Dragons Marine. Woo. Shame about Ruth Wilson joining Harry Potter. What? Is she in the new Harry Potter series? Oh, she can fuck off then. I think she's privately educated. Should we go and check if she went to private school? I don't think Emma Thompson went to private school, Let's have a look. Ashton studied. She went to Notre Dame School in Surrey, independent Catholic girls' school located in Surrey. So there you go. She went to private school. She gets to be on TV. We don't. Okay, my friends, my foes, my family, my fornicators. Let's call it a morning. I'm going to head off now. It is 38 minutes past 10 o'clock, so I've gone on a little bit. Might do a swear jar tonight. Might do a swear jar with Femi. Not Femi. Might do a swear jar with Super Tansky. With old Tansky. Might do a swear jar with Wayne, actually. I don't know. I've not organised anything yet. If we do a swear jar, we'll try and make it around 6 o'clock. But what you can do, right, just in case we do a swear jar tonight, right, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon, and then you'll get a little buzz in your phone when we're going to go live. It'll tell you, it'll say, great, it says we're going to go live in an hour or whenever it is, right? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do that with us? Yeah? Okay. All right. So join us tonight. Well, I'll be joined by someone with a potty mouth who will be swearing about all the shit that's gone down. Because we don't care about getting demonetized anymore. I couldn't give a shit. We get all our money from Super Chats. So, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for keeping this channel alive and for allowing us to drop the F-bomb and the C-bomb with gay abandon. I'll be back tomorrow, definitely, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with Morning Brew. We've also got the agenda at 1 o'clock with Phil Morehouse. And then at 9:30, we'll be doing a special Halloween night social. So join us for that. I think I'll be wearing some face paint. That'll be a laugh. Hello, to everybody in the chat. Everyone say goodbye. Saz and Bowler and Andy and Diz, Captain Coconut, Storytiller, Eddie Burns, Dragon Marine, Paula Thomas. I will say sayonara. And just one thing before I go. You know what's going to be, don't you? Just give us a like. Just give us a like. That's all we ask. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for the super chats in particular. And until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.